Well, it looks like my software is having some problems connecting to one of the two servers that I'm broadcasting to. I broadcast to YouTube and to Facebook, and I do try to make sure that my business Facebook Live is also sent to my personal page because I like for my friends to watch this as well as people who know me from business. Um, let's see if I can get this to work again, round like umpteenth. Trying again. So the last two broadcasts have been about the importance of play in our life. I actually wish I could have stayed longer. We weren't ready to come back to the cold. Um, it was really eye-opening to me to realize that I do not know how to have any downtime without having every minute of my day planned and programmed, and sometimes by other people, which bothers me. To not want to get up at 5:30 in the morning and go, 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 go. Although we kind of did, but we did it more of a, we had a 5-day park hopper. We could come and go as we liked. We could go from one park to another, or we could choose not to go to the park at all. And it was challenging for me to let go and to just play. By the first day I was tired. The second day I was stressed. The third day we went to the beach and I recharged. And the third, fourth, and fifth days, by the fifth day, I was really getting into it. I was acting like a child. It was delightful. It was wonderful. I was the one that was walking around just, with eyes big as saucers down Main Street, USA, and just going, I'm at Disneyland. I get to play. I'm at Disneyland. I get to play. And we went on every ride that I could possibly get in the line for. And some of them we waited 2.5 hours in line to go on the Cars, the Radiator Springs Racer ride, which was fun. We wanted to make sure we went after dark when all the neon lights are on. It was absolutely magical. And we went on the Guardians of the Galaxy. It used to to was it's the happiest place on earth except for that. So it kind of brought me back to the idea that, first of all, you need to play. And then I started thinking about, I don't play because I program my time way too much. And by that, it's challenging right now because I'm a single mom. Even though my kids are almost grown, I'm still a single mom. I'm going to college. And again, fortunately, I have a college so I can do 100% remotely and on my own schedule, but I'm still going to college. And I have a full-time job. And it's actually more than full-time because I'm the owner, and so I have to make sure that I'm, even though I have very grandmother was a librarian, so I don't color on books very easily, especially not on the cover. But one of the reasons I like this one, say that 5 times fast. And the first part of it, the first section, and I have talked about this book before, the first section is about designing your future, designing your life. And that the very first part is just look at what your perfect future would be, your ideal future. You may not reach it, but what if you could have anything you wanted, what would it be? What would your life look like? What would your home look like? What would your and I put down things like, well, if I had a perfect life, I would be in a house and not this apartment, with a yard. I would have a cleaning lady come in a couple times a week to take care of the deep cleaning. I would have an assistant. I would have an office suite. I would have an assistant. I would be successfully training my bookkeepers. I would already have achieved my Bachelor's of Science in Accounting. I would have achieved my master's degree. and my MBA and my CPA. And I'm talking 3 years in the future, by the way. I would be with the man that I want to be with. And honestly, if I can't be with him, then I would be alone and happy. I would be hiking a lot. I would be down to my ideal weight. I would have certain kinds of furniture. I would have my rooms painted certain colors. I would have, I really, really got into it. Some of the questions they ask, for what kind of money I made, I did not include health insurance or paid time off or vacations or anything. The benefits were I get to work with someone I want to work with. In fact, one specific person that I want to work with again, I put down that was the benefit that I was going to have. How do you feel when you get up in the morning? And I put down I have tons of energy. In a perfect world, my perfect ideal, I would be able to get up at 5:30 in the morning, full of energy and excited to start my day. Feeling like work is interesting and challenging and pleasant and fun, and then I felt and I can count, and 5 children of my own and 3 grandchildren, and there's lots of us. And I was raised to believe that families were forever. And that family was the most important. Relationships are the most important thing, not money. And I've often said money does not motivate me. Money is a nice thing to have, but when it comes down to it, I like to be around successful men not because they have a lot of money. I don't care if they do or not. If they're going through a hard patch, that's fine. What I'm looking for is, are they ambitious? And certain qualities that go along with being successful. That's what I'm looking for. So, relationships and family. It doesn't matter how much money you make if your relationships are terrible. And it asks specific questions about, what do the holidays look like? It's almost holiday season, Thanksgiving. I'm ready for Thanksgiving. What do you give back? What other, rather than intimate relationships such as family, what other relationships do you have? Physical wellness. This is a huge one for me. I am older than I like to think that I look. I like to think that I still look like I'm in my 30s, and I had a security guard at Disneyland try to tell me that. I think he was lying, but that's great. When you think of health and wellness, I was like, I want to die young as late as possible. And really, I want to be young all of my life. When I'm 96 years old, I still want to be young. I want to have a youthful outlook and as youthful of an appearance as I can manage. And I don't want to age gracefully. I want to fight it every step of the way. I want to feel young my whole life. Vibrant is the word that I use. I want to feel vibrant. And, how do you feel at the end of a long day? Well, I usually feel kind of tired and sore, but it's a good kind of tired and sore. It's the kind that tells you this was a long, busy, productive day. This is the good kind. I talked about how I like to work out. Right now, I genuinely like to work out, but right now my days are so full. I'm struggling finding the time. It talked about how you want your energy level to be, and how does it feel when you take a deep breath? The stuff that I would never have thought about to put in a book like this. Another part of our lives, and this is where I really was fascinated to see how important it really is, because I didn't think it was. Creation, exploration, and play. And at Disneyland, they kind of do most of the creation for you, and everything's very programmed, and that's okay. That's really what I was looking for. I was looking for the magic, and the magic is found at Disneyland. You walk in the front gate, and you check into the park, and I think I've got a picture of this somewhere on my phone. Let's see if I can find it really, really, really fast. It was towards the end that I took this picture. Oh, it's not there. There it is. You walk in the front gate of Disneyland, and there is a plaque that says, "Here you leave the world. Here you leave today, and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy." And you really do kind of leave the world behind. I had to make a business-related phone call. I think it was Thursday, and it was actually difficult for me to re-engage my brain because I wasn't at work. I wasn't in Utah. I wasn't, you know, I was playing. And so I had to stop and completely change gears and remember that there's a life outside of Disneyland. Because you really do, you leave the world behind when you go to Disneyland. If you're LDS, if you're a Mormon, we often talk about that when we go into the temple, which is a sacred place. And I think that Disneyland, as irreverent as this sounds, has that same quality of leaving the world behind and doing something else. And it really sounds irreverent, but I felt that. I felt that sense of, and it's a different sense. It's not going into someplace quiet like a Mormon temple. It's very boisterous and the lines are long, but it's still that same sense of not being in the world anymore. At least it was for me. I can't speak for everybody else. So it really kind of hit home how deprived of play that I've been. I was playing with my best friend, and I did something, and he was just, oh, he was very surprised that I was actually telling him what I wanted to do, and instead of going, well, I don't know, honey, what do you want to do? I was just like, I want this. Let's go do this. And he was kind of startled and excited for me. I mean, he was excited that I was that responsive. You know, what kind of creation do you do? Well, I typically have not done a lot of creation lately. Now, there's been times in my life when I've done a ton of creating. And I don't mean just kids. I mean, I lived in Germany for 3 years. The only thing plan. One of the things I like about this one is it goes quarter by quarter. Rather, it goes month by month, but it also at the end of the quarter, you stop and reevaluate and see how you're doing. And I haven't gotten to the end of the first quarter yet. I'm just in the first month. But I have really liked that. I've looked ahead and you stop and reevaluate and see what you're doing and how you're doing. And, you know, it just changes. That was the weirdest thing. Because life happens. Your goals may change. You may go from, well, I would really like to work at this company to, I would really like to get a doctorate. You may go from, I want to focus on my career to, oh, I have a baby on the way. That changes things. Life happens. And this is one that really allows you to set these long-term goals, but still with the idea that life does happen and sometimes you have to change things up. So I'm going to talk am looking forward to talking to you. Have a wonderful evening.